There is a hidden power within you, a force so great that it can shape reality itself. It is not found in the stars, nor in the hands of fate, but in the deep well of your own imagination. Whatever you seek, whatever you long for, is already yours, if only you dare to believe it so. The secret is not in waiting, not in hoping, but in knowing. You must live as if the answer has already come, walk as if the path is already clear, and rejoice as if the victory is already won. Faith is not a passive state. It is the most creative act of all. It is the unwavering conviction that what is unseen is more real than what is before your eyes. It is not enough to wish, nor even to pray with longing. One must assume with absolute certainty that what is desired is already present. This is the key, the great mystery that turns dreams into reality. The world you experience is but a reflection of your own inner state. Change that state, and the world around you will move to match it. What would it feel like if your prayers were already answered? If the love you seek was already yours? If the wealth you desire was already in your hands? If the success you longed for had already been achieved? Can you summon that feeling now, in this very moment? For if you can, you have unlocked the door. This is not a matter of chance, but of law, an unbreakable principle that governs the unseen forces of life. Believe that it is done, and it will be done. Step into the reality of your fulfilled desires, and watch as the world bends to meet you there. To truly manifest, you must abandon the old habits of doubt and fear. You cannot ask for something while holding on to the belief that it is out of reach. You cannot pray for abundance while seeing yourself as lacking. You cannot seek love while feeling unworthy of it. The world responds not to your words, but to the state of being you dwell in. The moment you shift your awareness to the fulfillment of your desires, they must materialize. It is not enough to visualize, nor to speak affirmations in an empty ritual. You must embody the feeling of having received. When you close your eyes, do you feel the warmth of love surrounding you? Do you sense the freedom of financial abundance? Do you carry yourself as someone who already possesses all they have asked for? If you do, then the law is in motion. If you do not, then you must persist until the feeling becomes real within you. You must live each moment in the joy and certainty that your desire has already found you. When you wake in the morning, step into the day as the person who already possesses their dream. When you walk, walk as one whose heart is full of gratitude for the answered prayer. When you speak, let your words reflect the truth that it is already done. The universe does not delay in responding. It mirrors your deepest convictions instantly. What you accept as true within will become your truth without. The greatest barrier to manifestation is not the outside world, but the resistance within. Doubt is the voice of a mind still trapped in the illusion of separation from its desire. Fear is the whisper of an old self unwilling to let go of limitations. The mind will argue, it will seek evidence of lack, it will try to convince you that you must struggle. But you must be steadfast. You must refuse to give power to anything but the vision of your fulfilled desire. If you desire love, then be love. If you seek abundance, then radiate abundance in thought and action. If you yearn for success, then carry yourself as one who has already triumphed. The energy you put forth is what you receive in return. This is not a theory nor a philosophy. It is the law by which all things are made manifest. The universe does not play favorites. It simply reflects what you deeply believe to be true. The reason so many fail to see their desires fulfilled is not because they lack the power, but because they surrender to doubt before the miracle unfolds. They plant the seed but dig it up in impatience. They declare their wish, but then undo it with thoughts of fear and lack. The law does not work on hesitation, it works on conviction. You must hold fast to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, unwavering, unshaken, until it hardens into fact. This is not the way of the world, which teaches that you must see before you believe, but in truth you must believe before you see. Your external circumstances are the echoes of your internal state. If you persist in seeing yourself as small, the world will confirm it. If you walk in the assumption of greatness, life will rise to meet you there. There is no force outside of you determining your fate. It is you, always you, shaping your experience by the reality you choose to accept. Do not concern yourself with how things will unfold. The mind, bound by logic and reason, will try to force solutions, will attempt to map out the details, will demand proof. But the great secret is that you do not need to know the how. You need only dwell in the knowing that it is already done. The path will form itself. The means will come in ways you could not have foreseen. The world will shift to accommodate the assumption you have made. Every great transformation in life begins in the unseen. The tree exists within the seed before it breaks through the soil. The masterpiece exists in the artist's mind before the brush ever touches the canvas. The invention is real in the inventor's imagination before it takes physical form. Likewise, your answered prayer is real the moment you claim it as so within you. So, live now as though the dream has already been realized. Rejoice now as though the blessing is already in your hands. Love now as though you are already surrounded by the warmth of everything you have ever wished for. For the truth is, you are. The only thing that stands between you and your desire is the belief that there is a distance at all. Remove that illusion and you will see you were always standing in the midst of your answered prayer. There is no delay in the fulfillment of your desire except the delay you place upon it, with doubt, hesitation, and disbelief. The moment you accept that what you desire is already yours, reality begins to shift in accordance with your belief. But you must not waver. You must not look to the world for validation before you believe, for the world is merely a mirror reflecting back the state you hold within. Every great achievement, every miracle, every transformation has followed this one principle. Live as though it is already done. There is no other path, no secret formula beyond this. Those who have risen from obscurity to greatness did not wait for the world to grant them permission. They assumed their success, they walked in the certainty of their destiny, and the world adjusted to their belief. To live in this way is to move beyond the limitations of the physical senses. The senses will try to deceive you, to tell you that you're still lacking, still waiting, still hoping. But your senses are merely the echoes of past assumptions. They do not define the future unless you allow them to. If you believe only in what you see, you remain bound to what has been. But if you believe in what you have imagined, if you claim it as real, then what has been will dissolve, and what must be will come forth. The law of manifestation is not about effort. It is not about forcing, struggling, or striving. It is about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled and resting in that assumption. It is about dwelling in the end result, not in the process, not in the obstacles, not in the seeming delays. The moment you shift your focus from longing to knowing, from wishing to being, everything changes. Most people live in the constant state of waiting, waiting for a sign, waiting for circumstances to shift, waiting for something outside of them to give them permission to believe. But waiting is nothing more than the absence of faith. To wait is to assume separation from your desire. To wait is to tell the universe that you do not yet have what you seek. And so you remain waiting. But the one who lives as if their prayer is already answered never waits. They move, they speak, they breathe in the certainty that what they have asked for is already theirs. You do not become wealthy by waiting to see money in your hands. You do not become loved by waiting for another to prove their devotion. You do not become healthy by waiting for symptoms to disappear. You become all of these things by assuming them to be true now, by feeling within yourself the joy, the freedom, the peace that comes with already possessing them. If you wish to manifest love, you must first become love. You must carry yourself as though you are already cherished, already adored, already deeply valued. You must not seek love from a place of emptiness, for the world will only reflect that emptiness back to you. Instead, you must embody the fullness of love within yourself, and in doing so, love will be drawn to you effortlessly. If you wish to manifest wealth, you must no longer think in terms of lack, you must no longer speak of struggle nor entertain thoughts of limitation. Even before the physical evidence arrives, you must walk in the consciousness of abundance. You must feel as one who has more than enough, who is generous, who is free. Money is not a thing to be chased, it is a frequency to be aligned with, and that frequency is not one of desperation, but of certainty. If you wish to manifest success, you must no longer dwell in fear or hesitation. You must no longer ask if you are capable, if you are worthy, if you are enough. You must assume the identity of one who has already achieved what they desire. You must move through life with the confidence and authority of someone who knows that their success is inevitable. For as long as you question, you delay. But the moment you claim, the moment you know, the moment you embody your success, it begins to unfold before you. This is not a philosophy of wishful thinking, nor an illusion to escape reality. It is the very nature of creation itself. Every great visionary, every pioneer, every leader throughout history has understood this truth, whether they spoke of it or not. They did not rise by waiting. They did not rise by seeking proof before they believed. They rose because they believed first, and the world had no choice but to conform. The mind will resist this at first. It will say, "But I do not see it yet. How can I act as if it is already done when my senses tell me otherwise?" This is where faith begins. Not blind faith in something outside of you, but faith in your own divine power to create. You must silence the mind's arguments and lean entirely into the feeling of your fulfilled desire. Do not try to force belief. Instead, relax into it. Dwell in it. Let it become so real in your imagination that you can no longer tell the difference between what is seen and what is felt. And when doubts arise, as they inevitably will, do not fight them. Simply return to the feeling of already having what you seek. Do not wrestle with old thoughts, for what you resist you strengthen. Instead, shift your attention back to the reality you choose to inhabit. The more you do this, the more natural it will become. And soon, what was once only imagined will begin to manifest in ways so seamless, so effortless, that it will seem as though it was always meant to be. There is no limitation except the one you impose upon yourself. The universe does not judge your desires, does not weigh them as possible or impossible. It simply reflects back to you what you assume to be true. If you assume limitation, you will see limitation. If you assume abundance, you will see abundance. The choice is always yours. You must take nothing personally in this world, for all of it is simply a projection of the self. If you see lack, look within and ask where you have assumed lack to be true. If you see rejection, ask where you have rejected yourself. If you see struggle, ask where you have believed that struggle is necessary, and then shift, choose anew, assume differently, and watch how quickly the reflection changes. You are not separate from your desires. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are the creator, the master, the divine force shaping every aspect of your reality. And the moment you step into this truth, the moment you claim your power with unwavering certainty, nothing will be withheld from you. Live now as though you already have all that you have asked for. Move now as though every prayer has been answered. Speak now as though you stand in the reality of your fulfilled dreams. And if you do this, truly, fully, completely, then you will never again wonder if manifestation is real. You will know because you will have lived it. There is no waiting in creation, there is only being. To wait implies that your desire is distant, that it exists somewhere outside of you, that time must pass before you can have it. But what if time were an illusion? What if distance were nothing more than a trick of the mind? What if, instead of waiting, you simply stepped into the reality where your desire is already fulfilled? You must understand that the moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, it is done. The world you see, the circumstances you believe to be real, are but the shadows of past assumptions. They have no power except the power you continue to give them. If you wish to step into a new reality, you must withdraw your attention from what is and place it entirely upon what you have declared to be. Look at your life now, at the things you experience daily. Each one of them is the outpicturing of a past belief. Whether consciously or unconsciously, you accepted these circumstances as true, and so they became true. But what was once assumed can be assumed again, differently, with greater intent. And the moment you shift that assumption, reality must shift with you. It is not a matter of hoping or wishing. It is not about asking the universe to grant you something outside of yourself. You are not a beggar at the doorstep of creation. You are the creator, the authority, the one who declares what is real. Do not fall into the illusion that you must earn or prove your worthiness. Worthiness was never in question. The only question is, what will you assume to be true? If you truly believed that your desire was already fulfilled, how would you act? How would you think, speak, move? Would you still worry, still doubt, still second-guess your ability to receive? No. You would carry yourself differently. You would move with confidence, with peace, with a quiet certainty that all is unfolding exactly as it should. This is the state you must occupy, not just for a moment, but persistently, unwaveringly, until it becomes second nature. Your imagination is the blueprint of your reality. What you hold in your mind's eye as real will be made real. There is no exception to this. The only reason so many fail to see their desires manifest is that they continue to waver. One moment they believe, the next moment they question. One day they affirm their desire is done, the next they look for evidence, and finding none, they doubt. This back and forth keeps them stuck in a loop of delay. But you will not do this. You will stand firm. You will live as though the world has already conformed to your desire. You will carry yourself as though your success is inevitable, because it is. You will walk with the knowing that what you have imagined is more real than what you see before you. And in doing so, what you see will change. This is not about pretending. It is not about ignoring reality. It is about choosing which reality you will accept. There are infinite possibilities, infinite versions of you existing right now. The only question is, which version will you align with? The moment you decide, the moment you shift into that state, you will notice the world around you begin to respond. Doors will open where before there were none. People will appear, opportunities will arise, events will unfold in ways you could not have predicted, but they will not come because you chased them. They will come because you became the version of yourself who already has them. They will come because you aligned with the state in which they naturally exist. You are never separate from what you seek. The idea that you must struggle, that you must prove yourself, that you must work tirelessly before you can receive, this is the greatest illusion of all. Creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists. Your only task is to claim it. To claim it means to dwell in the feeling of already having it. It means to let go of needing, longing, or hoping. It means to rest in the absolute certainty that it is done. Do not concern yourself with how it will come to pass. The how is not your responsibility. The moment you try to control the how, you step out of faith and back into doubt. Your only task is to remain in the state of fulfillment. If ever you waver, if ever you feel doubt creeping in, return to the feeling. Remind yourself that the world is only a reflection. Do not be fooled by appearances. They are temporary, malleable, subject to the power of your assumption. And so you must live now as the person who has already received. You must think from the place of your fulfilled desire, not of it. Do not look at your desire as something in the distance. Step into it now. Let it become real within you. If you desire wealth, stop thinking of yourself as someone who is striving for it. Assume the consciousness of wealth now. Feel the freedom, the ease, the confidence that comes with financial abundance. Speak as one who has already received. Do not speak of lack. Do not entertain thoughts of struggle. The more you focus on not having, the more you reinforce the state of lack. If you desire love, cease looking for it outside of yourself. Become the embodiment of love. Feel as though you are already cherished, already adored, already surrounded by deep affection. Carry yourself as one who is already in the perfect relationship, and as you do, love must find you, because you have aligned with it. If you desire health, stop identifying with illness. Do not speak of symptoms. Do not dwell in the identity of someone who is unwell. Assume the state of perfect health. Feel yourself whole, strong, vibrant. Your body is a servant to your mind. It will reflect what you assume to be true. There is nothing outside of you that has power over you. No condition, no circumstance, no force greater than your own belief. The only reality that matters is the one you choose to accept. The only truth that exists is the one you declare as real. You may look around and say, "But I do not see it yet." And I tell you, the moment you see it, it is no longer creation. Creation happens in the unseen, in the assumption, in the knowing before the evidence appears. The evidence is always the last to arrive. It is the shadow of the belief that preceded it. Do not be swayed by appearances. Do not let the world tell you what is possible. You are the one who defines possibility. You are the one who shapes the world. If you persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, nothing can stop its manifestation. Let go of doubt. Let go of waiting. Let go of the illusion that you must struggle. Step into your power. Step into your knowing. Live now as though everything you have asked for is already here. For if you do, you will soon discover the greatest truth of all, that you were never separate from your desires to begin with, that what you sought was always seeking you, that you were always standing in the midst of your answered prayer, and the moment you finally accept this, the moment you finally believe, the world will have no choice but to bow to your assumption and deliver to you the life you have claimed as your own. There is no force outside of you deciding what you can or cannot have. There is no external power determining when or if your desires will come to pass. The only authority in your world is your assumption, what you accept as real, what you believe without question, what you feel is true even before the evidence appears. This is the key to all manifestation. The moment you truly grasp this, you will stop waiting for life to change and start living as the master of your reality. You must not allow yourself to be moved by appearances. The world you see is not solid, not fixed, not unchangeable. It is fluid, responsive, obedient to your inner state. What you experience today is merely the crystallization of past thoughts, past beliefs, past assumptions. But just as a river flows and changes course, so too can your reality shift, the moment you decide it must. Most people believe they are subject to external conditions, that life happens to them, that they must react to whatever is placed before them. But this is a falsehood, an illusion, that keeps them bound to circumstances they do not wish to experience. The truth is that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. You are not here to be a spectator, you are here to be the creator. And so you must decide what you will accept as real. If you continue to see yourself as separate from your desires, you will remain separate from them. If you continue to act as though you are waiting, you will continue to wait. If you continue to seek validation from the external world before you believe, you will remain trapped in the cycle of delay. Instead, you must assume the state of the wish fulfilled. You must live from it, not toward it, not reaching for it, not hoping for it, but from it. This means feeling now as you would feel if your desire were already yours. This means thinking, speaking, and acting in accordance with the reality you have chosen. When you close your eyes, do you feel the joy of already having what you desire? Do you feel the relief, the peace, the certainty? Or do you still feel the longing, the separation, the waiting? If the latter, you must shift. You must make the feeling real within you, for what is real within must become real without. There is no effort required beyond the effort to remain faithful to your assumption. The moment you accept something as true, the world begins to rearrange itself to match that truth. But you must not waver. You must not contradict your assumption with doubt, fear, or hesitation. You must hold fast to your vision, even when the world seems unchanged. Think of the seed planted in the soil. The gardener does not dig it up each day to check if it is growing. He knows that growth is inevitable, that the process is already underway. He trusts that the unseen forces are working to bring forth the harvest. So too must you trust in the unseen power within you. Your assumption is the seed. The moment you plant it in consciousness and nourish it with unwavering belief, it must bear fruit. Do not concern yourself with time. The mind, bound to the illusion of linear progression, will try to impose deadlines, will try to measure progress, will try to dictate how and when things should unfold. But manifestation does not operate on human schedules. It operates according to the law of assumption, which knows only certainty, not time. If you say, "I will have this someday," you have placed your desire in the future, and so it will remain in the future. If you say, "It is already mine," you claim it in the present, and the present must shift to reflect that claim. Do not wait for the world to change before you change. Change within, and the world will follow. Your emotions are the signal that tells you what state you are in. If you feel anxious, uncertain, doubtful, you are in the state of not having. If you feel calm, fulfilled, grateful, you are in the state of having. And what you persist in feeling, you will inevitably experience. This is why it is not enough to simply visualize or affirm your desire. You must feel it real. You must walk as though it is already done. You must breathe as though the thing you long for has already arrived. The universe does not respond to empty words. It responds to the frequency of your being. If you desire wealth, do not entertain thoughts of lack. Do not count pennies with a sense of desperation. Instead, embody the energy of abundance. Feel as though you have more than enough. Move through life with the certainty that you are financially secure, and as you do, wealth will be drawn to you in ways you cannot predict. If you desire love, do not seek it from a place of loneliness. Do not ask, "When will I find someone?" for in doing so you affirm that love is missing. Instead, feel as though love is already surrounding you. Carry yourself as one who is cherished, adored, deeply connected. And as you do, love will reveal itself effortlessly. If you desire health, do not identify with illness. Do not speak of symptoms. Do not dwell in the mindset of struggle. Instead, assume the state of perfect well-being. Feel yourself strong, vibrant, whole. Let that feeling become more real to you than anything the senses may suggest. And as you do, the body must align with the new assumption. There is no force outside of you deciding whether or not you are worthy. There is no test you must pass, no permission you must seek. The only requirement is that you believe. And belief is not something you wait for, it is something you choose. When you claim something as yours in consciousness, reality must catch up. When you persist in the assumption, when you refuse to entertain anything but the fulfillment of your desire, when you move as though it is already done, the world has no choice but to reflect your conviction. Many will tell you that change is difficult, that success requires struggle, that you must fight and toil to achieve what you want. But those who say this do not understand the law. They do not realize that effort in the external world is unnecessary when the internal world is aligned. Creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists in potential. Your task is not to force it into being, but to step into the version of yourself where it is already real. And when you do, when you truly accept that you are already living in the reality you desire, the outer world must shift to match it. And so you must not wait another moment. You must not delay your assumption by seeking proof before you believe. The proof will come after you believe. The change will appear after you have assumed it to be real. You must live now in this very moment as though all you have asked for is already yours. You must walk with the assurance that the answer has already been given. You must speak with the confidence of one who knows that their desire has already materialized. You must think, feel, and move in the certainty that the unseen is more real than what is seen. For when you do, When you persist in this state, when you hold firm to your vision with unwavering faith, there will come a moment, sudden, effortless, inevitable, when the world shifts and you will look around and realize that what was once only imagined has become your reality. And in that moment, you will know beyond all doubt that you were never separate from your desires, that what you sought was never outside of you, that it was always waiting for you to assume its reality. And the moment you did, it had no choice but to appear. You must not allow your current circumstances to dictate your belief. What you see before you is nothing more than the after-image of old thoughts, old assumptions, old states of being. If you judge reality based on what appears in the moment, you remain trapped in a cycle of repetition, recreating the same experiences over and over again. But if you dare to look beyond appearances, if you dare to accept that what you assume to be real will become real, then you will understand that nothing is fixed, nothing is beyond your power to change. You must walk each day in the absolute conviction that your desire has already been fulfilled, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. You must speak as one who already possesses all that they have ever longed for. You must carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that their dream is not on its way, it has already arrived. The world responds to certainty, not hesitation. If you ask tentatively, if you approach life with an attitude of if only or I hope, then the world will reflect that uncertainty back to you. But if you assume with absolute conviction, if you declare within yourself that it is already done, the world will mold itself to that belief. Your task is not to figure out how your desire will come to pass. That is not your concern. The moment you begin to analyze, to strategize, to question whether it is possible, you introduce doubt, and doubt delays. The how is never your responsibility. Your responsibility is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and to remain there, undisturbed by appearances, unaffected by time, unwavering in faith. There will be moments when the world seems unchanged, when reality appears to contradict your assumption. But this is merely a test of your persistence. Most people falter here, allowing fear to creep in, allowing old doubts to reclaim their minds, but not you. You will remain steadfast. You will understand that the external world must take time to reflect the shift that has already occurred within you, and so you will stand firm in your knowing, regardless of what the senses may suggest. If you wish to be free, you must think only from the perspective of freedom. If you wish to be loved, you must feel yourself already loved. If you wish to be abundant, you must walk in the state of abundance now, even if the world tells you otherwise. You cannot wait for proof. You cannot wait for evidence before you believe. You must believe first, and the evidence will follow. Do not allow the mind to wander into questions of when or how. These are distractions, obstacles placed before you by an old way of thinking. Instead, anchor yourself in the feeling of already having received. Live in that feeling so completely that it becomes your new normal. Let it be the first thing you feel upon waking and the last thing you feel before sleep. Let it be so real to you that the world has no choice but to conform. Most people fail to manifest because they attempt to hold two conflicting states at once. They affirm their desire while still identifying with its absence. They speak of abundance while still feeling lack. They visualize success while still fearing failure. And in doing so, they remain in limbo, neither moving forward nor remaining still. You must not make this mistake. You must choose one state and abide in it fully. You are not bound by past failures, by former limitations, by old stories you have told yourself. At any moment, you can step into a new state. You can release every doubt, every fear, every lingering sense of unworthiness, and you can claim your birthright as the creator of your reality. The power has always been yours. The only thing required is that you accept it. Creation is not about force. It is not about effort. It is not about struggling to make something happen. It is about relaxing into the knowing that it is already done. It is about surrendering to the truth that what you have imagined is as real as anything you can touch, hear, or see. It is about moving with the assurance that the world is already aligning itself to match your assumption. There is nothing to chase, there is nothing to earn, there is nothing to prove. You need only be. Be the person who has already received. Be the one who no longer questions. Be the one who no longer waits. The moment you step into that being, the moment you take that identity as your own, the world will shift to confirm it. If you wish to see a change in your life, you must first become that change. If you want to experience joy, you must become joy. If you want to experience love, you must become love. If you want to experience success, you must become success. The external world will never give you what you are unwilling to assume as already yours. You must not waver when others question you. You must not look to the world for reassurance. The world will always reflect back to you what you most deeply believe. If you demand proof before you assume, you will wait forever. But if you assume without needing proof, proof will come. There is no difference between the great and the ordinary except in what they accept as true. The great do not wait for the world to confirm their success. They assume it, and the world falls into place. They do not ask whether they are worthy. They know they are, and the world mirrors that knowing. They do not hope for opportunities. They expect them, and so they appear. You must do the same. You must rise each day in the certainty that your dream is already real. You must act not from a place of wanting, but from a place of already having. You must speak not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. And when the world begins to shift, when the people, the circumstances, the opportunities begin to move in ways you could never have predicted, you will not be surprised, you will not be in awe, you will not marvel at the sudden transformation. You will simply nod in quiet assurance, knowing that it could never have been any other way. For you will have understood the greatest truth of all, that life has never been happening to you, it has always been responding to you. And now you finally know how to command it. You are the master of your reality. There is no external power, no unseen force deciding your fate. The only law that governs your life is the law of assumption. What you believe to be true must become true. There is no exception, no loophole, no special circumstance that can override this law. It is absolute, unwavering, and always working, whether you realize it or not. Look at the life you are living now. Every event, every relationship, every condition is a reflection of what you have previously assumed to be true. Whether consciously or unconsciously, you have accepted certain beliefs, and the world has dutifully mirrored them back to you. If you have experienced struggle, it is only because, at some level, you have accepted struggle as part of your story. If you have faced rejection, it is because you have unknowingly assumed yourself to be someone who can be rejected. If you have lived in lack, it is because you have believed in lack. But just as easily as you once assumed struggle, rejection, or lack, you can assume ease, love, and abundance. The power to write your story is always in your hands. It does not take time. It does not require effort. It requires only that you shift your awareness, that you step into the state of already having that which you desire. Most people go through life allowing circumstances to dictate their state of mind. They wait for things to change before they allow themselves to feel joy, success, or fulfillment. But this is backward. The world does not change first, you do. The moment you decide that you are already the person you wish to be, the moment you dwell so deeply in that state that it becomes your natural way of being, the world will have no choice but to reflect it back to you. You must stop thinking of your desires and start thinking from them. There is a vast difference between the two. To think of your desire is to see it as something separate, something distant, something you must still work toward. But to think from your desire is to assume it is already yours. It is to feel the relief, the satisfaction, the absolute knowing that what you have wished for is already a part of your reality. What would it feel like if you already had everything you have ever asked for? Close your eyes and dwell in that feeling. Let it take over your being. Let it replace every doubt, every fear, every thought of separation. For as long as you remain in that state, it must manifest. The world must shift to match your new assumption. Do not waver. Do not let appearances deceive you. If you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up the next day to see if it is growing. You trust that the process is unfolding, that unseen forces are at work bringing your vision to life. So too must you trust in the power of your own assumption. The moment you claim something as yours, it is yours. The world may take time to catch up, but your only task is to remain faithful to your new reality. This is not wishful thinking. This is not pretending. This is the truth of how creation works. Everything you experience is the direct result of your state of being. Change the state, and the experience must change with it. Most people make the mistake of reacting to the world instead of creating it. They see lack and assume it is real. They see obstacles and assume they must fight against them. But the wise do not react. They create. They assume the feeling of already having what they desire, and they let the world rearrange itself accordingly. You must do the same. If you desire wealth, stop affirming that it is coming and start assuming that it is already here. If you desire love, stop seeking it outside of yourself and start embodying the feeling of already being loved. If you desire health, stop identifying with illness and start dwelling in the certainty of perfect well-being. And when the world begins to change, when circumstances shift, when opportunities arise, when what once seemed impossible suddenly unfolds effortlessly before you, you will not be surprised. You will not doubt. You will not marvel at your own power. You will simply nod, knowing that it could never have been any other way. For you will have lived as though your desire was already yours, and in doing so, you will have made it so. There is nothing more to seek, there is nothing more to wait for. There is only the assumption, the unwavering belief, the feeling of already being the person you wish to be. And once you step into that state fully, completely, without hesitation, the world will yield to you. It will reshape itself in your image. It will bring to you all that you have claimed as yours. Because the greatest secret is this: you were never separate from your desires. They have always been within you, waiting for you to assume them as real. And the moment you do, they will be. You now hold the key. You now understand that the world is not something you must struggle against, not something you must beg for, not something you must wait on. The world is your mirror, reflecting back only what you assume to be true. So, what will you assume from this moment forward? Will you continue to see yourself as someone who is waiting, longing, hoping? Or will you step boldly into the knowing that everything you desire is already yours? Will you walk as one who has already received, who no longer questions, who no longer seeks, but simply is? This is your moment of decision. This is the moment where you stop letting life happen to you and start commanding it from within. Live now as though all your prayers have been answered. Move now as though the reality you once dreamed of is already here. Breathe now as though nothing is missing, as though nothing has ever been missing. For the truth is, nothing ever was. You were never separate from your desires. You were never unworthy. You were never powerless. You were always the creator, the authority, the force that shapes reality itself. And now, knowing this, you can never go back to living as though you are anything less. Go forth not in hope, but in certainty. Go forth not as a seeker, but as one who is already found. Go forth and live as if God has already answered, because He has. God often allows trials to come into our lives, not to destroy us, but to refine us. When you are on the brink of a breakthrough, the challenges you face are not by accident. They are a test of faith, a measure of endurance, and a preparation for the blessing that lies ahead. These moments are not signs of abandonment, but of divine preparation. One sign that God is testing you is when everything around you seems to be falling apart. The doors that once opened with ease now remain shut. Relationships that once brought joy may turn cold. Opportunities that seemed certain may slip through your fingers. It is in these moments that doubt creeps in, whispering lies that God has forgotten you. But He has not. The enemy wants you to believe that delay means denial. But God is orchestrating something greater behind the scenes. He is teaching you to trust in Him alone, not in your own understanding. Another sign is when your faith is stretched beyond what you think you can handle. You pray, but heaven seems silent. You seek answers, but they do not come in the way you expect. You feel as though you are walking through the valley of the shadow of death, with no clear path ahead. But remember, faith is not built in comfort, it is forged in trials. The silence of God does not mean He is absent. It is in the silence that He strengthens you, drawing you closer to His presence. You may also experience increased opposition from the enemy. The moment you step closer to God's purpose, the attacks intensify. Temptations that you thought you had overcome suddenly resurface. Distractions appear to pull you away from your calling. People may misunderstand you, question your motives, and even betray you. Do not be disheartened. The enemy does not attack those who are not a threat. If the battle is great, it is because your breakthrough is near. The closer you get to God's promises, the harder the enemy fights to turn you away. But greater is He who is in you than he who is in the world. Another sign that God is testing you is when He asks you to let go of something you deeply cherish. He may call you to walk away from a comfortable situation, a familiar place, or a secure plan. It is not because He wants to take from you, but because He has something greater in store. Abraham was tested when he was asked to sacrifice Isaac, his promised son. But in his obedience, he discovered that God had already provided a ram in the thicket. When God asks you to surrender something, it is never to leave you empty-handed. It is to make room for something greater, something beyond what you could imagine. Another sign is the feeling of isolation. There are seasons when God removes certain people from your life, not because they are bad, but because they cannot go where He is leading you. He isolates you, not to punish you, but to refine you. The greatest revelations often come in moments of solitude. Moses encountered God alone on Mount Sinai. Jesus withdrew to pray in solitude before great moments of ministry. It might be the same with you. For when you feel isolated, know that God is drawing you into a deeper relationship with Him. You will know God is testing you when He allows you to reach the very end of yourself. When your strength is gone, when you have exhausted every effort, when there is nothing left but total dependence on Him, that is the moment when His power is made perfect in your weakness. It is then that you realize that the breakthrough was never about your ability, but about His grace. Do not grow weary in the testing. Do not lose heart in the trial. What you are facing is not meant to break you, but to build you. God is preparing you for the blessing ahead, shaping you into the person He has called you to be. Hold on, stay faithful, and trust in the one who never fails. God is always at work, even when we cannot see it. When trials come, they come with a purpose, shaping us, molding us, refining us like gold in the fire. The greatest blessings are often preceded by the most intense struggles, and the strongest warriors are not forged in ease, but in adversity. Every test you face is not a sign of God's absence, but His presence. He allows these moments to stretch your faith, to prepare you for the destiny He has laid out for you. If you are experiencing trials that seem too great to bear, take heart. Your breakthrough is near. One of the greatest signs that God is testing you before your breakthrough is when everything familiar begins to shift. The places, people, and routines that once brought comfort may suddenly feel uncertain. It can feel as if the very foundation you stood on is being shaken. But God does not shake your life to destroy you. He does it to remove what is weak, so that only what is strong remains. When everything around you begins to shift, it is often a sign that He is leading you into something new, something greater. The discomfort you feel is not punishment, it is preparation. God is pulling you away from what is temporary so He can establish you in something eternal. There will be moments when the very people you trusted the most turn away. Friendships may dissolve, relationships may falter, and those who once supported you may suddenly distance themselves. This is not by accident. When God is taking you to a new level, not everyone can go with you. Some people were only meant to be part of your journey for a season, and when their purpose in your life has been fulfilled, God moves them out of the way. It is painful, but it is necessary. Do not chase after what God is trying to remove. If He is allowing separation, it is because He has something better. He sees the hearts of men, and He knows what is hidden. He is protecting you, even when it feels like rejection. Another sign that God is testing you is when you are required to wait longer than expected. Waiting is one of the hardest tests of faith. You pray, you believe, you trust, but the answer does not come. The delay feels endless and doubts creep in, whispering that perhaps God has forgotten you. But He has not. His timing is perfect, and He never rushes. When God makes you wait, it is not to deny you, but to develop you. Waiting teaches you patience, builds endurance, and strengthens your reliance on Him. It refines your character so that when the breakthrough finally arrives, you are ready to handle it. Many people want the blessing, but they do not want the preparation. But God will not give you something prematurely, for He knows that what comes too soon can be lost too easily. If you are waiting, trust that He is working. There will also be times when God allows you to feel completely alone. The voices that once encouraged you may grow silent, and the support you once leaned on may disappear. It may feel as if no one understands what you are going through, but this loneliness is not to harm you, it is to draw you closer to Him. Throughout Scripture, God often called His servants into isolation before He elevated them. Moses was alone in the wilderness before he led Israel to freedom. Joseph was alone in a prison before he was placed in a position of power. Jesus was alone in the wilderness before He began His ministry. If you are in a season of solitude, do not despise it. It is in these moments that God whispers His greatest revelations. When God is testing you, you may find that the very things you once found easy now seem difficult. Prayer may feel dry, worship may feel distant, and your faith may feel weak. You may begin to question whether you have done something wrong. But this is not a punishment, it is a test of perseverance. Will you still pray when you do not feel anything? Will you still trust Him when the answers do not come right away? Faith is not proven in moments of ease, it is proven in moments of struggle. Anyone can believe when the blessings are flowing, but true faith is revealed when there is no evidence, no sign, and yet you still believe. Another sign that God is testing you is when temptations arise stronger than ever before. The enemy knows when you are on the verge of a breakthrough, and he will do everything in his power to stop you. Temptations that you thought you had conquered will resurface. Old habits may try to return. The enemy will present distractions, trying to lure you away from your purpose. But these are not signs of failure. They are signs that you are closer than ever to what God has promised. Do not give in. Do not be deceived. Stand firm in righteousness, knowing that if the battle is intense, it is because the victory is near. You may also notice that your resources begin to dwindle. Financial struggles may arise, opportunities may seem scarce, and doors may close, but this too is a test. God is teaching you to rely on Him alone. He wants to be your provider, your source, your sustainer. When everything else is taken away, will you still trust Him? When the brook dries up, will you still believe He can make rivers in the desert? The provision of man is temporary, but the provision of God is eternal. He is the same God who fed Elijah through ravens, who multiplied the widow's oil, who provided manna in the wilderness. If He did it then, He can do it now. He will provide in ways you never expected, but first He must test your heart to see if your trust is in Him or in the resources He gives. When you are being tested, you may feel like your prayers are bouncing off the walls. It may seem as if heaven is silent, as if God is not answering. But silence does not mean absence. The teacher is always silent during the test. God is watching, observing, seeing how you respond. Will you keep praying even when you do not hear Him? Will you keep believing even when there is no visible sign? These are the moments that define your faith. God says, Episode 2. Sometimes the biggest test comes in the form of obedience. God may ask you to do something that makes no sense. He may call you to step out in faith, to take a risk, to walk away from something comfortable. The natural mind resists these moments because they require total trust. But obedience always precedes the breakthrough. Naaman had to dip in the Jordan 7 times before he was healed. The Israelites had to march around Jericho before the walls fell. Peter had to cast his net on the other side before he caught more fish than he could carry. Every act of obedience unlocks a greater blessing. If God is asking you to step out, do it. It may not make sense now, but on the other side of obedience is the breakthrough you have been waiting for. Another sign that God is testing you is when He allows you to reach your absolute limit. You may feel like you cannot go any further, as if you have no strength left. But this is where His power is revealed. It is when you come to the end of yourself that you see the fullness of God. Paul said, "When I am weak, then I am strong." God's strength is made perfect in weakness. When you have nothing left, that is when His grace sustains you. That is when He steps in and does what only He can do. Do not mistake the test for abandonment. Do not let the enemy convince you that God has forgotten you. He has not. Every trial is a step toward the promise. Every hardship is a preparation for what is to come. If you are being tested, it is because you are being prepared. The greater the test, the greater the testimony. Hold on, keep believing, and do not lose heart. The breakthrough is closer than you think. When you feel as though the weight of the world is pressing down on you, when the trials seem endless and the burden too heavy to carry, that is when God is at work in the deepest places of your life. The enemy would have you believe that your suffering is without purpose, that your pain is in vain, but God never allows a trial without a reason. Every storm He permits is meant to strengthen you, to refine your faith, and to bring you closer to the destiny He has prepared for you. If you are walking through a season of testing, know that your breakthrough is nearer than it has ever been before. The darkness before the dawn is always the darkest, and the enemy fights hardest when he knows the victory is close at hand. One of the most significant signs that God is testing you before your breakthrough is when you feel overwhelmed by a series of challenges that come one after another. It seems as if every time you take one step forward, something comes to push you 2 steps back. The trials come not in isolation but in waves, pressing upon you from every direction. This is not a coincidence. The enemy knows that if he can discourage you now, if he can cause you to doubt God's plan, he can keep you from stepping into the fullness of your calling. But what the enemy does not understand is that the more he tries to press you down, the stronger God is making you. Just as pressure turns coal into diamonds, the pressure of trials is refining your spirit, purifying your faith, and preparing you for the abundance God has in store. There are moments when you will feel spiritually exhausted, as though the fire that once burned brightly within you is now nothing more than a flickering ember. Your passion for prayer, for worship, for reading the Word may begin to fade, and the presence of God may feel distant. This is not because God has left you, He never leaves His children, but because He is stretching your faith. It is easy to worship when you feel His presence, but will you continue when the heavens seem silent? It is easy to trust when everything is going well, but will you trust Him in the valley? God is not testing your comfort. He is testing your commitment. Faith that is only strong in good times is not true faith at all. It must be tested in the fire, purified through the trials, and proven in the struggle. Another way God tests his children before a breakthrough is by allowing them to face situations that seem impossible. The Red Sea stood before the Israelites, and Pharaoh's army pursued them from behind. The walls of Jericho stood tall and unshaken before they crumbled. David faced a giant with only a sling and 5 stones. Time and time again, God's people have been placed in situations where victory seemed impossible. Why? Because God wanted them to see that the battle was never theirs to fight alone. He wanted them to trust not in their own strength, but in His power. When you are facing a situation that seems impossible, do not be afraid. The God who parted the sea, the God who brought down the walls, the God who gave victory to David, is the same God who walks with you today. He has not changed, and He will not fail you. There are times when the doors that once seemed open suddenly close. Opportunities that seemed promising may slip away, and the path you thought you were meant to walk may become unclear. This too is a test. God is not closing doors to punish you. He is closing them to redirect you. Not every opportunity is meant for you, and not every path leads to your destiny. Sometimes God must remove the good so He can give you the best. When doors close, do not be discouraged. Instead, ask God to reveal His plan. What seems like a loss today may be the very thing that saves you from future pain. Trust that if He is closing one door, it is because He is preparing to open another, greater one. Another sign that you are being tested is when you feel as though you are standing alone, fighting battles that no one else seems to understand. It can feel as if you are walking through a wilderness, uncertain and afraid. But every great man and woman of faith has walked this road. Before Joseph entered the palace, he was thrown into a pit and left in a prison. Before Moses led the Israelites to freedom, he spent years in the desert. Before Jesus stepped into his ministry, he was led into the wilderness to be tested. The wilderness is not a place of abandonment, it is a place of preparation. God is not punishing you. He is setting you apart. If you are in a season of isolation, it is because He is doing something deep within you that requires your full attention. When God is preparing you for a breakthrough, He will often strip away everything that you once depended on. He will allow your own strength to fail so that you may learn to rely fully on Him. This is a painful process, but it is necessary. The Apostle Paul said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." It is in the moments of greatest weakness that God's strength is most clearly revealed. When you have nothing left, when you feel as though you cannot go on, that is when He steps in and carries you. The breakthrough is not about what you can do, it is about what He can do through you. During times of testing, the enemy will whisper lies into your mind. He will tell you that you are not good enough, that you have made too many mistakes, that God has forgotten you. But the enemy is a liar, and he only attacks what he fears. If he is trying to fill your mind with doubt, it is because he knows that God's plan for your life is too great to stop. Do not believe the lies. Stand firm in the truth of God's word. You are not forgotten, you are not forsaken, and you are not fighting alone. One of the greatest signs that your breakthrough is near is when you experience a deep inner transformation. The trials you have faced have changed you. The struggles have made you stronger. The waiting has deepened your faith. You are not the same person you were when this journey began. And that is the point. God does not just want to give you a breakthrough. He wants to make you into someone who can sustain the blessing when it arrives. Many people want the reward, but they are not ready for the responsibility that comes with it. But God, in His infinite wisdom, will not bless you before you are prepared. He is working in you, shaping you, and molding you into the person He has called you to be. If you are walking through a season of testing, take heart. Every struggle, every challenge, every moment of pain is leading you somewhere. The testing of your faith is producing perseverance, and perseverance will lead to the fulfillment of God's promises. Do not give up. Do not let go. Your breakthrough is coming, and when it arrives, you look back on this season and see that every trial was worth it. When God is testing you before your breakthrough, you may find yourself surrounded by silence, as if your prayers are going unheard. You cry out to God, but it seems as though the heavens are closed. You seek answers, but none come. This silence is not an absence, it is a divine strategy. God's silence is not his rejection. He is watching, refining, and strengthening you. When a teacher is silent during a test, it does not mean the teacher has abandoned the student. It means the student already has everything they need to pass. God has already equipped you with faith, wisdom, and his promises. This silence is not to destroy you, but to build your endurance. The breakthrough is on the other side of your unwavering trust. When God prepares you for something greater, he will allow delays to test your patience. You have prayed, fasted, and waited, yet the answer seems far away. The waiting season can feel unbearable, but it is never wasted. God does not delay without reason. He sees what you do not. He knows the perfect timing for every blessing. If Joseph had been released from prison too soon, he would have missed his divine appointment with Pharaoh. If David had taken the throne before the right time, he would not have been ready to lead. Sometimes God keeps you in a waiting season because he's aligning things beyond what you can see. Waiting is not punishment, it is preparation. God's tests often come disguised as disappointment. The opportunity you wanted falls through. The person you trusted betrays you. The dream you worked for crumbles before your eyes. These moments shake you to the core, making you question everything. But God does not take away to harm you. He removes to replace. What you lost was never meant to be your foundation. The things and people that were removed were not aligned with your destiny. Your self-imprisonment. If you saw what God was preparing for you, you would understand why certain things had to fall apart. Every disappointment is a divine redirection. Trust that what is ahead is far greater than what is behind. Before a breakthrough, God often exposes the hidden battles within your heart. He allows pressure to reveal what is inside. Fear, pride, impatience, and doubt come to the surface, not to condemn you, but to free you. God cannot take you to the next level with baggage that will weigh you down. He is purifying your heart so that when the blessing arrives, it will not destroy you. The Israelites wandered in the wilderness for 40 years because their hearts were not ready for the promised land. God had to remove the mindset of slavery before they could walk in victory. Sometimes the greatest battle before the breakthrough is not external, but internal. God is dealing with your heart, shaping you, refining you, and making sure that when the blessing comes, you will be able to sustain it. Spiritual warfare intensifies before a breakthrough. The enemy knows you are close to stepping into a new level of faith, purpose, and favor. He will throw distractions, temptations, and discouragement your way. He will try to make you question everything God has promised you. When the attacks become relentless, it is not a sign to give up, but a sign to press in. The enemy does not attack those who are not a threat. If you are facing spiritual warfare, it is because your destiny is too great for the enemy to ignore. But the battle is not yours. It belongs to God. Stand firm. Put on the full armor of God, and know that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Another sign of testing is when God asks you to let go of something that you thought you needed. It could be a relationship, a job, a habit, or even a dream you have held on to for years. He will ask you to surrender it, not because he wants to leave you empty, but because he wants to fill you with something greater. Abraham was asked to lay Isaac on the altar, the very son God had promised him. It was a test of trust, of obedience, of faith, and in the end, God provided the sacrifice. Sometimes what God asks you to release is not meant to be taken away forever. It is meant to test your heart. Do you trust the gift more than the giver? Can you release it knowing that if it is truly from God, he will return it in his perfect way? The willingness to surrender is what prepares you for the next level. Many times, before a breakthrough, your faith will be stretched to the limit. You will be placed in situations where you have no choice but to rely on God completely. The resources may run dry, the support may fade, and every plan you had may fail. But this is not a place of defeat. It is a place of dependence. God is removing everything that would allow you to take credit for the victory. He is making sure that when the breakthrough comes, you will know beyond a doubt that it was by His power and not your own. When you are stripped of every earthly support, that is when you will see the hand of God move like never before. God will also test your response to others during your season of trial. Will you remain kind when you are mistreated? Will you continue to love when you are betrayed? Will you encourage others when you yourself feel discouraged? How you handle the people around you in difficult times reveals your heart. It is easy to love when things are going well, but true faith is shown when you choose to love, to forgive, and to bless, even when it is difficult. Joseph had every reason to be bitter towards his brothers, but when his breakthrough came, he forgave them and saw the hand of God in it all. Your ability to love in the midst of trials is a sign that you are truly prepared for what God has ahead. One of the final tests before a breakthrough is the test of perseverance. The enemy's greatest strategy is to make you quit just before the promise comes. He wants to make you so tired, so discouraged, so weary that you give up. But the Bible says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." The harvest is coming, but it is reserved for those who endure. You may feel exhausted. You may wonder if all the effort has been worth it. But this is the moment to press in even harder. The enemy knows how close you are. That is why he is fighting so hard. But greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. Keep going, keep believing, keep trusting. Everything you have walked through, every tear you have cried, every battle you have faced is leading to something greater than you can imagine. God is not a man that he should lie. If he has spoken a promise over your life, he will fulfill it. The testing is not to break you, but to make you ready. When the breakthrough comes, you will see that every moment of struggle was not wasted. Building, you will look back and realize that God was with you all along, shaping you, preparing you, and leading you to the place He has destined for you. Hold on. Your breakthrough is coming. When God is preparing you for something greater, He will allow you to face circumstances that seem impossible. You may feel as though you're standing before a Red Sea with no way forward, yet behind you the pressures of life press in, threatening to overtake you. It is in these moments that God shows His power in ways beyond human understanding. He parts the waters, He makes a way where there was none, and He proves that no obstacle is too great for Him. But before the miracle comes the test. Will you trust Him when you cannot see the way? Will you stand firm when everything in you wants to give up? God is not asking you to understand, He is asking you to believe. The breakthrough does not come when everything makes sense. It comes when faith stands in the face of the impossible and declares that God is able. There will be times when you feel completely alone, as if no one understands what you are going through. You may find that people who once stood by your side are now distant. Friends may walk away, family may not understand, and those you trusted may turn against you. But solitude is not abandonment, it is refinement. God will allow seasons where you must stand alone so that you learn to depend on Him alone. Even Jesus, before fulfilling His greatest purpose, was led into the wilderness alone. If you find yourself in a season where it feels like no one is with you, know that God has not left you. He is drawing you closer, strengthening you for what is to come. There are moments before a breakthrough where it feels as though nothing is happening. You pray, but there is no immediate response. You seek, but there is no visible sign. The danger in these moments is to assume that silence means inactivity. But God does His greatest work beneath the surface. A seed does not sprout the moment it is planted. It remains hidden in the soil while its roots grow deep. If it is uprooted too soon, it will never reach its full potential. Likewise, God is working beneath the surface of your life. What He is doing may not be visible yet, but it is necessary. When the time is right, you will see the fruit of what He has been cultivating in secret. Trust the process. Trust the unseen hand of God, moving in ways beyond your understanding. And God will often test your obedience before releasing your breakthrough. He may ask you to step into something that does not make sense, to move when it feels uncomfortable, or to take action when you feel unqualified. The blessing is on the other side of obedience. When Jesus told Peter to cast his net after an entire night of failure, Peter had every reason to doubt. He had worked hard with no results. Yet, in obedience, he cast the net again, and the result was a catch so great it nearly sank the boat. Obedience does not always make sense in the moment, but it is always the path to abundance. When God asks you to take a step of faith, do not hesitate. His instruction is not to harm you, but to position you for the breakthrough He has already prepared. There will be moments when your faith is stretched beyond what you think you can bear. The challenges will seem too great, the opposition too strong, and the journey too long. But faith is not about seeing, it is about believing. The enemy will whisper that you are not strong enough, not good enough, not capable enough. He will try to plant doubt in your heart, making you question whether God will truly come through. But God does not bring you to the edge of a breakthrough only to leave you there. He is the author and the finisher of your faith. If He started a work in you, He will complete it. The pressure you feel is not a sign of defeat, it is a sign that something is about to shift. The greatest opposition always comes before the greatest outpouring. Sometimes God will remove every earthly security you rely on so that you learn to depend on Him completely. The things you once leaned on may no longer hold you up. The resources you counted on may dry up. The opportunities you thought were guaranteed may disappear. But this is not a punishment. It is a setup for greater provision. When Elijah was by the brook, God provided for him through ravens. But there came a time when the brook dried up, not because God abandoned him, but because God was shifting him to a new season of provision. If something in your life has dried up, do not panic. It simply means God is moving you to a new place of blessing. The source may change, but the provider remains the same. He is still Jehovah Jireh, your provider. The enemy will do everything in his power to make you quit just before your breakthrough. He will use discouragement, distractions, and even doubt to weaken your resolve. But this is the moment to stand your ground. The enemy would not be fighting so hard if he did not see what God was about to release in your life. He knows that if you endure, if you refuse to quit, if you hold on just a little longer, the breakthrough will manifest. That is why the attacks have intensified. That is why the pressure has increased, because you are on the verge of stepping into something greater. Do not let temporary pain rob you of an eternal promise. Hold fast. Stand firm. Your victory is near. One of the greatest tests before a breakthrough is the test of gratitude. Can you thank God before the miracle happens? Can you worship Him in the waiting? It is easy to praise God after the breakthrough, but true faith praises Him before. When Paul and Silas were in prison, they did not wait for the chains to fall before they worshipped. They worshipped, and then the chains fell. Their praise was not a response to victory. It was the catalyst for victory. If you can lift your hands and thank God even in the storm, you will see the doors of breakthrough swing wide open. Do not wait until you see the blessing to give Him glory. Praise Him now, for He is faithful. You may feel as though you are being pressed on every side, but remember this: pressure precedes promotion. The greater the calling, the greater the preparation. The enemy does not attack the ordinary. He attacks those who are destined for something extraordinary. The challenges you are facing are not a sign that you are forgotten, but a sign that you are chosen. God is molding you, refining you, and positioning you for something beyond what you can imagine. Do not lose heart. Do not give up. Everything you have endured has been leading to this moment. The testing is temporary, but the breakthrough will be lasting. Hold on, for God is about to do something in your life that will leave no doubt. He was with you all along. The moments before a breakthrough are often filled with the greatest battles. The weight of trials seems heavier, and the voices of doubt grow louder. You may find yourself asking, Lord, why is this happening? Why does it feel like everything is falling apart when I have been faithful? But do not be deceived by how things appear. The enemy attacks hardest when he knows you are closest to a divine shift. The storm is not a sign that you are forsaken. It is a sign that you are stepping into something the enemy does not want you to receive. When Jesus and his disciples were crossing the sea, a violent storm arose, shaking their boat and filling their hearts with fear. But what they did not understand was that on the other side of the storm was deliverance, healing, and freedom. The storm was not meant to destroy them. It was meant to distract them from the breakthrough waiting on the shore. If you find yourself in the middle of a storm, do not focus on the waves. Focus on the one who calms them. The refining fire of trials is never easy, but it is necessary. Gold is purified in fire, and faith is strengthened in adversity. God is preparing you for something greater than you can see. He allows these tests not to break you, but to build you. Every challenge is shaping you, every delay is refining you, and every hardship is deepening your dependence on Him. When you feel as though you're being stretched beyond your limit, remember that God is not trying to destroy you. He is strengthening you for the blessing ahead. A tree's roots must go deep before it can withstand strong winds. Likewise, God is rooting you in faith, making sure that when the breakthrough comes, you will be ready to carry it. Many times, before God releases His promises, He will ask you to let go of something. It could be a relationship, a job, a mindset, or even a comfort zone. Abraham was tested in this way when God asked him to sacrifice Isaac, the very son he had waited for. It made no sense. It seemed unfair. Yet Abraham obeyed, trusting that God would provide, and he did. The provision was waiting, but the test came first. God will often require you to surrender something precious before He places something greater in your hands. If He is asking you to release something in this season, do not resist. What He has for you is far greater than what you are holding on to. Sometimes the delay itself is the test. It is easy to trust God when things happen quickly, but what about when the waiting stretches on? Joseph had a dream of greatness, yet before he saw it fulfilled, he endured betrayal, false accusations, and years of waiting in a prison cell. He could have given up. He could have become bitter, but instead he remained faithful. And when the time was right, in a single day, he went from the prison to the palace. If you are in a season of waiting, know that God is not delaying to punish you. He is preparing you. The waiting is not wasted. The waiting is where character is built, faith is strengthened, and endurance is developed. Do not despise the waiting, for it is leading you into something far greater than you imagined. The enemy will try to plant fear in your heart right before your breakthrough. He will try to make you afraid of failure, afraid of stepping out, afraid of believing too much. But fear is a liar. Fear does not come from God. Every great move of God in the Bible began with someone overcoming fear through faith. When Joshua stood before the promised land, he was told, "Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." God did not promise Joshua that the journey would be easy. He promised that he would be with him. The same is true for you. Do not let fear rob you of what God has for you. Walk forward in faith, knowing that He goes before you, making a way where there is none. The greatest breakthroughs often come after the hardest seasons. Jesus Himself endured the cross before the resurrection. The pain came before the victory. The suffering came before the glory. And the same pattern follows in the life of every believer. The enemy will try to convince you that the trial means God has abandoned you. But the opposite is true. The trial is proof that you are on the path to something greater. If you could see what was waiting on the other side, you would not doubt, you would rejoice. Do not let the darkness of the present moment convince you that the light is not coming. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. There will be moments when you feel exhausted from the battle. You have prayed, you have fasted, you have stood in faith, yet the answer seems distant. The weight of discouragement presses down, and the temptation to give up is strong. But now is not the time to quit. The enemy wants to wear you down, to make you so weary that you let go right before the promise manifests. But do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you will reap if you do not give up. Strengthen yourself in the Lord. Encourage yourself in His promises. He has never failed, and He will not start now. There will be tests that make you question whether you are truly on the right path. The obstacles may seem insurmountable, and the road may appear blocked. But God is not limited by human barriers. What seems impossible to you is nothing to Him. The Red Sea did not stop the Israelites. The walls of Jericho did not stop Joshua. The lions did not stop Daniel. And the fire did not consume the 3 Hebrew boys. But in every obstacle you face is simply an opportunity for God to reveal His power in your life. Stand firm, trust Him, and watch Him move. Right before the breakthrough, there is often a moment where everything in you wants to turn back. The pressure is intense, the struggle is real, and the enemy whispers that it would be easier to quit. But do not listen. If you quit now, you will miss what God has been preparing for you. The enemy only fights what he fears. The very fact that you are facing this battle means that the breakthrough is closer than you realize. Keep pressing forward, keep believing, keep standing. You are on the verge of something greater. God has not forgotten you. He has not abandoned you. Every tear you have cried, every battle you have fought, and every test you have endured has been seen by Him. He is working all things together for your good. Do not lose heart. Do not give up. The breakthrough is coming. Hold on just a little longer. Trust Him, for He is faithful. There will be moments when the silence feels overwhelming, when it seems as though your prayers are hitting the ceiling and falling back to the ground unanswered. You call out to God, but all you hear is the echo of your own voice. This silence is not abandonment, it is preparation. The teacher is always silent during the test. God does not need to prove Himself over and over again. He is already faithful. But in these moments of silence, He is watching to see if you will trust Him without signs, if you will believe without immediate evidence, if you will stand firm when everything around you tells you to fall. The enemy wants you to believe that God's silence means He has left you, but that is a lie. He is closer than ever. When a seed is planted in the ground, it appears buried, hidden beneath the soil, but deep within it is taking root. Growth is happening even when nothing is visible. In the same way, your faith is being strengthened beneath the surface. Do not mistake silence for absence. God is working in the unseen, aligning things in the spiritual realm before they manifest in the physical. Your job is to trust, to believe, to endure. There will be trials that feel unfair, tests that seem unnecessary, losses that appear unbearable. You may find yourself looking at the situation and thinking, "Why, Lord? Why would you allow this?" Job asked this very question when everything was stripped away from him: his health, his wealth, his family, his reputation. His friends accused him. His wife told him to curse God and die, but he refused. He held on to faith even when everything around him suggested he should let go, and in the end God restored him with double. The testing was not to destroy him, but to refine him, to prove his faith genuine. God is not just concerned with your breakthrough, it is concerned with your heart. If He were to give you everything you are asking for without first preparing you, the blessing could become a burden. He loves you too much to give you something you are not ready for. So He allows the fire not to burn you, but to purify you. He allows the struggle not to crush you, but to strengthen you. He allows the waiting not to frustrate you, but to build endurance in you. If you knew what He was protecting you from, you would thank Him for the delay. If you knew what He was preparing for you, you would embrace the process with joy. Often, before the breakthrough, God will strip away every crutch you have been leaning on. He will remove the things that you thought you could not live without, so that you learn to depend on Him alone. The Israelites had to go through the wilderness before they entered the Promised Land. In the wilderness, they learned to rely on God for daily manna, for water from the rock, for guidance by a pillar of fire and cloud. The wilderness was not meant to punish them, it was meant to prepare them. It was meant to remove their dependence on Egypt, to break their reliance on the world's ways, and to teach them that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. If you are in a wilderness season, do not despise it. God is teaching you something you will need for the next level. He is removing the things that would hold you back so that when the breakthrough comes, you will be able to sustain it. Every pruning, every loss, every uncomfortable shift is not meant to harm you. It is meant to position you. You may feel surrounded by battles on every side, but you are not fighting alone. The battle is not yours, it is the Lord's. The enemy wants to wear you down, to make you so tired that you surrender right before victory. But do not give up now. God has never lost a battle, and He will not start with you. Stand firm in faith. Declare His promises even when your situation contradicts them. Speak life over your circumstances. Do not let fear have the final word. When David faced Goliath, he did not speak about how big the giant was. He spoke about how great his God was. Your words have power. Use them to declare victory. Faith is not about what you see, it is about what you know. And what you know is that God is good. He is faithful. He is just. He does not make mistakes. He does not forget His promises. If He has spoken a word over your life, it will come to pass. Heaven and earth may pass away, but His word remains forever. Do not let temporary trials shake your eternal confidence. The storm will pass. The night will break into morning. The pain will give way to joy. Hold on to the truth, not your feelings. Feelings change, but God's word does not. Right before a breakthrough, the enemy will try to distract you. He will bring people into your life to drain your energy, situations to stir up fear, and thoughts to make you doubt. Recognize the strategy. Do not fall for the trap. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Peter walked on water until he took his eyes off Jesus and focused on the wind. The moment he shifted his focus, he began to sink. The enemy wants to shift your focus so that you drown in doubt, but keep your eyes fixed on the one who called you. He will not let you fall. You are not alone in this. Heaven is on your side. Angels are fighting for you. The prayers you have prayed have not been ignored. The tears you have cried have not gone unnoticed. God is working even when you cannot see it. The breakthrough is already set in motion. Do not quit before you see it. Do not give up before you hold it. Walk by faith, not by sight. The test is almost over. Hold on. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. The trials you face are not meant to break you, but to build you, to shape you into the person God has called you to be. Every delay, every hardship, every unanswered prayer is not a sign of God's absence, but of His divine preparation. He is refining your faith, strengthening your endurance, and positioning you for the blessing He has in store. Do not let the weight of the test cause you to quit before the victory. Stand firm, keep believing, and trust that God is working all things together for your good. When the breakthrough comes, and it will come, you will look back and realize that every challenge was necessary, every struggle was worth it, and every moment of testing was leading you to something greater. Hold on to faith, for in due season you will reap if you do not give up. You did not stumble upon this message by accident. Nothing in your life is random. Every moment, every experience, every word you encounter is divinely orchestrated. You are here because God has called you, because your spirit is ready to receive. The answers you have been searching for, the guidance you have longed for, are already within you, but you must awaken to the truth. You have been waiting, wondering, questioning, but God is speaking to you now. He is reminding you that the power to shape your reality has always been in your hands. The world around you is a reflection of the world within you. The thoughts you entertain, the beliefs you hold, the emotions you nurture, these are the seeds of your future. And today, God is asking you to choose wisely. You've been feeling as though something is missing, as if you are trapped in a cycle that refuses to break. But hear this, you are not trapped. You are not bound by your past. The chains that you think hold you down exist only in your mind. God has already set you free, but you must see it, believe it, and walk in it. Your circumstances do not define you. The world does not dictate your destiny. What you hold in your heart, what you persist in believing, that is what will manifest. If you continue to see yourself as broken, as lacking, as unworthy, then that is the life you will experience. But if you see yourself as whole, as blessed, as chosen, the world will reshape itself around your faith. God is telling you to stop waiting. Stop waiting for permission, for validation, for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. The moment you decide, the moment you claim the life that was meant for you, everything will begin to shift. But you must move beyond doubt. You must move beyond fear. You've been praying, asking for a sign, and this is it. God is reminding you of who you are. You are not weak. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are His creation, endowed with His power, carrying His presence. What you seek is already yours. What you desire is already unfolding. But you must claim it with certainty, with conviction, with unwavering faith. Do not let the world convince you that you are small. Do not let circumstances convince you that you are powerless. Everything you see was once unseen. Everything you longed for is already forming. But your belief must be greater than your fear. Your faith must be stronger than your doubt. God is saying, rise, step forward, act as if the answer has already come, because it has. Act as if the door is already open, because it is. The moment you believe, the moment you accept, the moment you declare it done, it will be. The power is not outside of you. It has never been. It is within. It is in the way you think, in the way you feel, in the way you see yourself. You have held on to fear for too long. You have let doubt whisper lies into your heart. You have allowed the world to make you forget your divine authority. But this is your awakening. This is the moment you remember who you are. You are not separate from God. You are one with Him. His power flows through you. His wisdom moves within you. His love surrounds you. And when you walk in that truth, when you stand in that knowing, nothing can be withheld from you. Every thought you dwell upon is a seed. If you plant thoughts of lack, you will harvest struggle. If you plant thoughts of doubt, you will reap delay. But if you plant thoughts of abundance, of victory, of unwavering faith, you will see miracles unfold before your very eyes. This is how the kingdom of God works. This is the divine law that governs all things. God is asking you to release the old version of yourself, release the identity that has kept you bound, release the limitations you have accepted as truth. The moment you let go, the moment you surrender, the moment you decide to walk in faith instead of fear, the universe will rearrange itself for you. The right doors will open. The right people will flow into your life. Because you are no longer resisting the divine plan. You are not a victim of life. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You have the power to shift, to transform, to rise. But it begins in your mind. It begins with the story you tell yourself. What if you decided today that you are already blessed, that you are already favored, that God has already made a way for you? What if you stopped waiting for proof and started walking in certainty? The truth is, you will see it when you believe it. not the other way around. The world has taught you to wait until you see results before you believe, but God's law works differently. You must believe first, you must feel it first, you must act as if it is already done, and when you do, reality will bend to meet your faith. God is asking you to align your heart with His truth, to trust not just in words but in action, to stop speaking defeat over your life and start speaking victory. Your words have power, your thoughts create form. You cannot afford to think and speak in ways that contradict the blessings that are already yours. Look around you. Everything you see began as a thought. Every breakthrough, every success, every blessing, it all started in the unseen. And just as others have manifested their dreams, so can you. But you must let go of resistance. You must release the fear that tells you it's not possible. You must silence the voice that says you are not worthy. Because God is telling you now, you are enough. You are ready. You are chosen. This is your moment. This is your turning point. No more delays, no more hesitation, no more waiting for a sign. You have the sign, you have the word, you have the truth. Now all that remains is for you to act, to move, to step forward in faith. Let this message be the shift you have been waiting for. Let it be the confirmation that everything is already working in your favor. Let it be the reminder that you are never alone, that you are always guided, that God's plan for you is unfolding perfectly. You are powerful beyond measure. You are loved beyond comprehension. You are here for a divine purpose, and from this moment forward, you will walk in that truth. You will think differently, speak differently, believe differently. And as you do, the world around you will reflect the change within you. God has already said yes to your dreams. God has already prepared the way. The only question is, will you step into it? Will you believe it before you see it? Will you trust in the unseen until it becomes seen? The choice is yours. But if you choose faith, if you choose certainty, if you choose to walk as the divine being you were created to be, nothing will be impossible for you. So everything you desire, everything you have prayed for, everything your heart has longed for is already yours. But you must claim it now. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because the moment you truly believe, the moment you stand firm in faith, the moment you accept that God's power is within you, nothing can stand in your way. Let go of doubt, let go of fear, let go of the limitations that have held you back. The door is open, the path is clear, all that remains is for you to step through. You are ready, you are prepared. And now you will see with your own eyes what happens when a child of God walks in absolute faith. It is already done, it is already yours. Now go forth and live in the fullness of that truth. You are standing at the edge of a great transformation. You may not see it yet, but it is already unfolding. The shift is happening within you, and as your mind aligns with truth, your world will reflect that change. You have been conditioned to believe in limits, in struggle, in resistance, but today God is telling you that those chains have been broken. The only thing holding you back now is the belief that you are still bound. What if you let go of that belief? What if right now you decided that nothing is impossible for you? What if you finally accepted that you were never meant to live in lack, in fear, in hesitation? What if you dared to see yourself as God sees you? Whole, powerful, abundant, unstoppable. There is nothing missing in you. There is nothing lacking in your spirit. You were created in the image of the divine, and within you is the same creative power that formed the stars, that set the universe into motion. That power is not outside of you, it is within you, waiting for you to recognize it, waiting for you to claim it. For too long you have sought permission from the world. You have waited for circumstances to align, for signs to confirm, for others to validate your worth. But the truth is, you do not need permission. God already said yes. The moment you were created, the moment you were breathed into existence, your destiny was set in motion. But it can only unfold as far as your faith will allow. If you believe in struggle, you will experience struggle. If you believe in delay, you will encounter delay. But if you believe in the miraculous, if you believe in divine favor, if you believe that everything you desire is already within reach, then you will step into a life that reflects that faith. The world is a mirror showing you what you hold within. And today, God is asking you to look deeply at what you have been projecting. Have you been speaking life over yourself, or have you been cursing your own path with doubt? Have you been seeing yourself as powerful, or have you been shrinking, playing small, hiding from the greatness that is already yours? Every time you allow fear to take root, every time you speak words of defeat, you build a wall between yourself and the life that God has already prepared for you. But now, the walls must come down. Now the old patterns must be broken. Now the thoughts that have limited you must be replaced with the truth of who you are. You are not here by accident. You are not struggling through life by chance. Every challenge you have faced was preparing you, refining you, awakening you to your divine potential. You are ready now. You are more than ready. Do you feel the stirring within you? That deep knowing that you were meant for more? That is not your imagination. That is God calling you higher, reminding you of the inheritance that has always been yours. But you must walk in it. You must claim it. You must stop postponing your blessings. Stop doubting your worth. Stop waiting for permission to be great. This is your time. This is your moment. Everything you have been seeking is already seeking you. But you must meet it with faith. You must act as if it is already done. You must move as if the doors are already open. Because the truth is, they are. The only thing that has ever been in the way is your hesitation to walk through them. God is telling you now, no more hesitation, no more playing small, no more waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is the decision to believe. And the moment you decide, the moment you step into faith without wavering, everything will shift. You do not need to know how. You do not need to see every step ahead. All you need to do is trust. Trust that the same power that created the universe is guiding you, supporting you, making a way for you. Trust that nothing is working against you, that every delay, every detour, every challenge was shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you for the greatness that is ahead. 1/10, output by tenth. Plant out. Let go of the old story, the one that says you are not enough, that you have to struggle, that things never work out for you. That story was never true. It was a lie you were taught to believe. But today, God is asking you to write a new one, a story where you are victorious, where you are unstoppable, where you are abundantly blessed beyond measure. A story where everything you touch prospers, where every step you take is guided, where every desire of your heart is fulfilled. Speak it now, declare it now, say it as if it is already done. Because when you do, you align yourself with the truth. And when you align with truth, the entire universe conspires to bring it into reality. You were never meant to struggle, you were never meant to live in fear, you were created to thrive, to shine, to be a living testament of God's greatness. And now, the time has come for you to step fully into that truth. Close your eyes and see it, feel it, the life you desire, the peace, the joy, the abundance. It is already yours. You do not have to earn it, you do not have to chase it, you simply have to claim it. The moment you do, the moment you decide without doubt, it will begin to unfold. God is reminding you today, you are not separate from Him. His power is within you, His love is flowing through you. And when you walk in that knowing, when you refuse to accept anything less than what He has promised, you will see miracles. You will see breakthroughs. You will see doors open where there were once only walls. You are worthy of every blessing. You are worthy of every dream. You are worthy of a life filled with peace, with love, with abundance. And the only thing God asks of you is to believe. To believe so deeply that no doubt can shake you, no fear can stop you, no circumstance can make you question the truth. The truth is, you were never meant to struggle. You were never meant to live small. You were meant to be a living reflection of God's greatness, a vessel for His power, a testament of His abundance. And now you will walk in that truth. You will no longer hesitate. You will no longer question. You will no longer wait for permission. Because God already said yes. The door is already open. The way is already made. The only thing left is for you to step into it. To walk as if it is already done. To live as if your blessings are already here. And when you do, when you truly embrace this truth, everything will change. The things that once felt impossible will become effortless. The opportunities you thought were out of reach will come to you with ease. The life you have been praying for will unfold before your very eyes. This is your time. This is your moment. The past is behind you. The old limitations no longer exist. From this day forward, you will move with certainty. You will act with confidence. You will trust in the unseen until it becomes seen. Because you are powerful beyond measure, you are loved beyond comprehension, you are chosen, you are ready, and now the world will see what happens when a child of God walks in absolute faith. It is already done. It is already yours. Now go forth and live in the fullness of that truth. You have been searching, waiting for a sign, hoping for confirmation that your prayers have been heard. Let this be that confirmation. You were led here today not by chance, not by coincidence, but by divine design. God is speaking to you now, calling you into a greater awareness of who you truly are. Everything that you have been longing for is already within your reach. It has always been yours. The only thing left for you to do is believe. Doubt has been your greatest enemy. It has whispered lies into your mind, telling you that you are not ready, that you are not worthy, that you must wait. But today those lies are exposed. They hold no power over you anymore. The moment you decide to fully embrace your divine nature, everything will begin to shift. You were never meant to live in fear. You were never meant to walk in uncertainty. God placed within you a vision, a purpose, a calling that is far greater than the limitations of the world. And now the time has come for you to step into it. No more waiting, no more second guessing, no more looking outside of yourself for what has already been placed within you. Do you not see? You are the miracle you have been waiting for. You are the answer to your own prayers. You have been given the power to create, to transform, to manifest everything that aligns with your divine purpose. But you must believe it, you must claim it, you must walk in it without hesitation. Every word you speak is shaping your reality. Every thought you entertain is directing your path. If you have been speaking of lack, if you have been thinking of limitations, then you have unknowingly been building walls around yourself. But today those walls crumble. Today you choose a new path. Today you declare that nothing is impossible for you, because nothing is impossible for God, and He is within you. Do not be deceived by appearances. The world will try to convince you that you are bound by circumstances, that you are a victim of chance, that you must struggle to receive even a fraction of what God has already given you. But that is not the truth. The truth is that you were created to rise above, to walk in divine favor, to experience abundance in every area of your life. And now you will no longer accept anything less than that. Close your eyes for a moment and see the life you desire. Feel it, imagine it as if it is already yours, because in truth it is. You are not separate from your desires. You are not reaching for something distant. Everything you seek is already within you, waiting for you to claim it. But you must let go of fear. Fear is the only thing that has ever stood in your way. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of stepping into the unknown. But God is reminding you today that there is nothing to fear. He has already prepared the way. He has already removed the obstacles. The only thing left for you to do is walk forward in faith. You may not see the entire path yet. You may not understand how everything will come together. But that does not matter. What matters is that you trust. What matters is that you take the first step, knowing that each step will be revealed as you move forward. The vision has been given to you for a reason. It is not random, it is not wishful thinking. It is divine instruction, a glimpse into what is already yours. Let each go into what is already yours. Stop questioning it. Stop doubting yourself. Stop thinking that you need more time, more resources, more validation before you can begin. You have everything you need right now. God would not have placed the vision in your heart if He had not already provided the means to fulfill it. But He requires your faith. He requires your action. He requires you to step boldly, even when you cannot see the full picture. This is your moment. This is your awakening. No more looking back. No more reliving past mistakes. No more carrying burdens that were never meant for you. You are free. You are powerful. You are an extension of divine creation. And nothing can stand in your way unless you allow it to. God is telling you now, walk in faith, speak with authority, move with certainty. The world will try to shake you. It will test you. It will attempt to make you question what you know in your spirit to be true. But do not waver. Do not let the illusions of the world distract you from the truth that has been placed within you. You are stepping into a new reality, a reality where lack does not exist, a reality where you do not have to struggle because you understand that everything flows effortlessly when you align with divine truth. A reality where your dreams are not distant wishes, but inevitable manifestations. From this moment forward, you will no longer speak of what you lack. You will no longer focus on what is missing. Instead, you will declare that everything you desire is already done. You will walk in confidence, knowing that all things are working together for your highest good. Every setback was a setup for your breakthrough. Every delay was positioning you for something greater. Every hardship was refining you, preparing you, making you stronger. And now you are ready. Ready to receive. Ready to step fully into the abundance that has always been yours. Let go of any resistance. Release any lingering doubts. Allow yourself to fully embrace the truth of who you are. You are not meant to struggle. You are not meant to settle. You are not meant to live in fear. You are meant to thrive, to expand, to radiate divine power in everything you do. God is saying to you now, the door is open. The way is clear. Everything you have been praying for, everything you have been waiting for is already here. The only question is, will you step into it? Will you claim it? Will you finally accept that you are worthy? There is no more time for hesitation. There is no more space for doubt. The time is now. Your life is changing in this very moment. The old version of you no longer exists. The version of you that worried, that feared, that questioned has been left behind. You are walking in a new power now. You are speaking with new authority now. You are operating in a new level of faith now. And because of that, nothing will be the same. Opportunities will flow to you effortlessly. Doors will open in ways you never expected. Miracles will become your new reality. Everything you touch will prosper. Everything you desire will manifest. Everything you need will be provided. Because that is who you are. That is what you were created for. And now, you will no longer deny it. This is your new beginning. This is your divine moment. From this day forward, you will never be the same. You will walk with confidence. You will speak with certainty. You will move with faith, knowing that everything has already been arranged for your highest good. And as you step into this truth, as you fully embrace who you are, you will inspire others to do the same. Your transformation will be a testimony. Your faith will be a light. Your life will be evidence of God's power. So rise now, walk boldly, speak life, claim your blessings, step into the abundance that has always been yours. It is already done, it is already yours, and now the world will see what happens when a child of God finally awakens to their divine power. You have waited long enough. You have questioned long enough. The time for hesitation is over. The time for uncertainty is gone. Now is the moment when you rise, when you awaken, when you finally understand that you are not separate from the power of God, but one with it. This is your divine awakening, the shift that will change everything. You are not here by accident. The words you are hearing now are not random. Every word is a seed being planted in your spirit, preparing you for the harvest that is already waiting. You may have felt lost, confused, or unsure of what comes next, but God is speaking clearly to you now. Everything is already aligned. Everything has already been arranged. The only thing left is for you to believe it. Doubt has no place in your life anymore. Fear has no power over you. Every limitation you thought was holding you back is an illusion, a veil that is now being lifted. You are being shown the truth that you are powerful beyond measure, that nothing is impossible for you, that everything you desire is already within your reach. But you must claim it. You must own it. You must step forward with a faith so unshakable that nothing in this world can move you. God is showing you now that you were never waiting on Him. He has been waiting on you, waiting for you to let go of the doubt, waiting for you to release the fear, waiting for you to trust, truly trust, that He has already made a way for you. Every moment you spend questioning, every moment you spend hesitating, is a moment delaying the blessings that are already assigned to your life. But today that ends. Today you step fully into your power. Today you decide that you are ready to receive. You have been conditioned to believe that you must struggle, that you must suffer, that blessings must come with hardship. But that is not the truth. That is not divine law. God's abundance is effortless, His favor is limitless, and His love is unconditional. The only thing keeping you from receiving it fully is the belief that you must earn it. You do not have to fight for what is already yours. You do not have to beg for what has been freely given. The moment you shift your mindset, the moment you open yourself completely to receive, everything will change. Look at your life right now. Every experience, every challenge, every setback, it has all been leading you here. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was in vain. Every moment was a step toward this awakening. You are stronger now. You are wiser now. You are ready now. The struggles of the past do not define you. The limitations you once believed in do not hold you. You are free. God is calling you to step boldly into the life that has been waiting for you. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. Your abundance is now, your healing is now, your breakthrough is now, but you must believe it. You must speak it. You must align every part of your being with the truth that you are already victorious, that you have already won, that everything you need is already provided. You are stepping into a season where nothing will be impossible for you, where doors will open before you even knock, where blessings will come before you even ask, where favor will follow you in ways that cannot be explained. But you must release the old version of yourself. You must leave behind the thoughts that kept you small. God is telling you now, walk in confidence. Walk in certainty. Speak as if your prayers have already been answered, because they have. Move as if everything you desire is already yours, because it is. Stop looking for signs. Stop waiting for confirmation. This is your sign. This is your confirmation. Everything is aligning for you right now. You are no longer the person who doubts. You are no longer the person who hesitates. You are no longer the person who wonders if you are worthy. You know now. You see now. You understand now. You are chosen. You are anointed. You are walking in divine purpose, and nothing can stop you. The shift that is happening in your life is beyond what you can see with your physical eyes. It is happening in the unseen, in the spiritual realm, where all things begin. Every word you speak, every thought you think, every belief you hold is shaping what is to come. Speak life, think abundance, believe in the impossible. The moment you do, you will see miracles unfold before your very eyes. And understand, like there's always the first belief, there will be those who doubt you. There will be those who do not understand this transformation. That is not your concern. You are not here to seek validation. You are not here to be understood by those who do not yet see what you see. You are here to walk in purpose. You are here to demonstrate what is possible when a person fully aligns with divine power. You are here to inspire, to elevate, to show the world what happens when faith is absolute. Forgiveness is the only reward for being the good that you have always been. You are limitless, you are unstoppable, you are already everything you need to be. The only thing left is for you to step into it fully. The time is now, the breakthrough is now, the manifestation is now. Do not wait, do not question, do not look back. God has given you this message today as a reminder, as a confirmation, as a divine instruction. There is nothing left to fear, there is nothing left to question. All you must do is receive, believe, and move forward with unwavering faith. From this moment on, you will no longer walk as the person you once were. You will no longer carry the burdens of your past. You will no longer accept anything less than what God has promised you. You are rising, you are expanding, you are stepping fully into the divine life that has always been yours. Every word you have spoken, every prayer you have whispered, every dream you have held in your heart is already unfolding. The universe is responding, heaven is moving, everything is shifting in your favor. Now, walk as if you know it, speak as if you own it, live as if it is already done, because it is. God is telling you today, the time is now, the blessings are now, the transformation is now. All that is required is your faith, your belief, your willingness to step into what has already been prepared for you. So take this moment and declare, I am ready, I am worthy, I am chosen, I am walking in divine favor, nothing is missing, nothing is lacking, nothing is impossible. My time is now, my breakthrough is now, my victory is now. And as you speak these words, as you claim this truth, as you move forward in absolute faith, watch as everything aligns in ways you never imagined. Watch as miracles become your new reality. Watch as your life transforms before your very eyes. It is already done. It has already been written. Now all that is left is for you to receive it, walk in it, live in it, and never look back. As you continue to step into the fullness of your power, know that this is not just a momentary shift. This is a permanent transformation. You will never return to the way you once were because you have outgrown the version of yourself that lived in doubt, fear, and hesitation. You are now stepping into a reality where abundance, peace, and joy are your natural state. It is important for you to remember that the universe, aligned with God's will, operates on a frequency of faith. When you align your mind, your thoughts, and your beliefs with that frequency, everything in your life begins to resonate with divine purpose. This is how the miraculous happens. This is how your desires, your goals, and your dreams manifest effortlessly. You do not have to struggle or strive. All you need to do is shift your perception and hold fast to the truth that everything you need is already provided for you. There is power in your belief. And when you truly believe, you will see the results. Every belief you hold creates your reality. So believe in your unlimited potential. Believe in your divine inheritance. Believe in the blessings that are waiting for you, not tomorrow, but today. Your words create worlds, and as you speak them, they begin to shape the life you are meant to live. God has equipped you with everything you need. You have the power to create, the power to heal, the power to manifest your deepest desires. Do not look to the world for validation or approval. The only validation you need comes from within, from the God who resides in you. He has already said, "It is finished," and what he has finished, no one can undo. Let go of the belief that you are not enough, that you are unworthy, or that you must prove yourself. The truth is that you are more than enough. You are worthy of every blessing that is coming your way, and you do not have to earn it. You simply have to receive it. You have already been given the authority to walk in your divine destiny. All that is left is for you to claim it, to embrace it, and to move forward with absolute certainty. The journey ahead will not always be without challenges, but even in those moments, you will recognize that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Every obstacle is a stepping stone to your greater self. You are becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable with every experience. You are evolving into the person you were always meant to be. Remember, God is not just with you in your moments of peace and prosperity. He is with you in every moment. In every struggle, He is there. In every victory, He is there. You are never alone. You are always guided, always supported, always loved. Now is the time to let go of what no longer serves you. Release the doubts, the fears, the old beliefs that have held you back. They have no place in your new reality. Your divine inheritance awaits, and it is yours for the taking. Everything you need is already in motion. The only thing left is for you to step into it, to live in it, to walk boldly toward it with unwavering faith. Trust in this moment. Trust that God is doing a new thing in your life. Trust that everything is already working out for your good. And as you trust, as you believe, watch as your world begins to transform in ways you never thought possible. This is your moment. This is your time. It is already done. Every step you take from this moment forward is a step toward your divine purpose. You have been given the gift of this message, not by chance, not by coincidence, but because it is time for you to step fully into your power. You were born for such a time as this, a time where you can make the impossible possible, where you can manifest the dreams and desires that have been placed deep within your heart. Every dream, every vision, every desire has been planted by the Creator. These desires are not merely wishes or fleeting thoughts. They are divine signals, reminders from the universe that it is time to step into the life that was always meant for you. God does not give you desires that are unattainable. The dreams in your heart are your roadmap, showing you the path that you are meant to walk. And right now the path is clearing. Right now everything is shifting in your favor. You may not see it with your physical eyes yet, but your spirit knows, your soul knows. Deep within, you can feel the stirrings of change. You can feel the shift, and that shift is powerful. There is a divine power that is operating in your life right now, moving mountains, opening doors, and aligning everything around you for your good. It does not matter what you have been through. It does not matter how difficult the journey has been or how many times you have felt defeated. This is your season of victory. This is your season of transformation. The same power that created the universe, the same power that parted the Red Sea, the same power that raised the dead, is the power that is within you right now. And that power is calling you to rise, to claim your inheritance, and to step boldly into the life that has been prepared for you. Everything you need is already within you. You have been equipped for greatness. You have been chosen to walk in divine favor, to manifest the life that you desire. Do not allow the challenges of the past to define who you are today. The past is gone, and what you choose to believe in this moment will determine the course of your future. It is time to let go of the stories that have kept you stuck. I said, it is time to release the limitations that have held you back for so long. You are no longer the person who doubts. You are no longer the person who hesitates. You are no longer the person who plays small. You are powerful, you are capable, you are deserving. The moment you recognize this truth and begin to live it, your entire world will begin to shift. The universe will begin to align with your beliefs. The doors that were once closed will suddenly open, and you will find yourself walking through them with ease and confidence. You will find that the people, the opportunities, and the resources you need to succeed will begin to show up in your life with divine timing. And it won't feel like coincidence, it will feel like divine orchestration. And that's because it is. Your life is about to change, and it's about to change in a way that exceeds your wildest expectations. You are entering into a season where your dreams will begin to manifest faster than you ever thought possible. The desires that have been deep within your heart will come to fruition. You may not see it all right now, but you are already walking in it. You are already in the process of receiving your blessings, your breakthroughs, and your miracles. All you have to do is trust the process. Trust that everything is unfolding as it should. Trust that you are being led by divine purpose and that every step you take is guided by a higher power. Let go of the need to control the how and the when. God has already worked out the details. Your job is to believe. Your job is to trust. Your job is to keep moving forward even when it doesn't make sense. Even when you don't have all the answers. Keep going. Trust that you are being guided every step of the way. You are not alone. God is with you. You are always surrounded by His love, His grace, and His infinite wisdom. All you need to do is step into this truth and walk confidently in it. Every obstacle, every challenge, every setback has only been preparing you for this moment. It has been strengthening your character. It has been teaching you to trust in the process. And now you are ready, you are equipped, you are capable, you are deserving, and it is time for you to rise. Your faith is the key to unlocking your divine blessings. Your faith is what will move the mountains. Your faith is what will create the miracles. Without faith, you cannot receive the fullness of what God has in store for you. But with faith, nothing is impossible. Your faith is the channel through which divine favor flows into your life. The more you believe, the more you will receive. The more you trust, the more miracles you will witness. You are now being called to elevate your faith, to step into the fullness of your belief. Do not allow fear to rob you of what has already been promised to you. Do not allow doubt to keep you from walking in your divine purpose. The time has come for you to act on your faith, to speak life into your situation, to declare that you are worthy of every blessing, every opportunity, and every good thing that is coming your way. Speak your truth, speak your desires, speak your blessings into existence. Do not wait for someone else to tell you what you are capable of. You already know. You already have everything you need. Now, step into it. God is sending you this message today because He wants you to know that your time is now. You are not waiting for something to happen. Something is waiting for you. Your blessings are waiting for you to claim them. Your breakthroughs are waiting for you to step into them. Everything that you have been desiring is already aligned. The universe is responding to your faith, your belief, and your actions. It is already unfolding. This is your season of abundance. This is your season of favor. This is your season of greatness. Do not let fear hold you back. Do not let doubt cloud your mind. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is the belief that it is already yours. And once you shift your belief, you will see everything fall into place. You will see the doors open, the opportunities arrive, the miracles manifest. But it starts with you. It starts with your belief. It starts with your trust. God is with you, and He has already made a way. Now it's your turn to step into it. The time is now. The blessings are now. Your life is about to change in ways you cannot even imagine. And it all starts with you. Believe, trust, step forward, and watch as everything aligns in your favor. You are ready, you are chosen, you are blessed. Now claim what is already yours. As you stand in this moment, recognize that the message you've received today is not by chance, it is divinely orchestrated. God has brought you here to remind you of the incredible power within you, the power that has always been there, waiting to be fully realized. You are not waiting for God to move. He is waiting for you to step forward in faith, to claim your blessings, to step into your destiny without hesitation. This is your time to rise. This is your moment to believe, to trust, and to move with unwavering confidence. Every dream you hold, every desire in your heart, every vision you've had for your life is already unfolding. The universe is aligning in your favor, and nothing can stop what has already been set in motion. The path ahead is clear. You are not walking alone. God's favor surrounds you, His grace empowers you, and His love covers you. It is time to let go of the past, let go of the doubts, and step into the fullness of your divine purpose. Walk boldly into your future, knowing that all things are working together for your good. You are chosen, you are powerful, you are enough. Now, step forward in faith, knowing that everything you need is already here, ready for you to claim it. This is just the beginning of your beautiful journey. The time is now.